Okay, this is an updated version of my album collection. I'm back to uploading videos on YouTube. I took a break. This lighting is annoying me. I don't like this lighting. We're making a video showing my collection. I don't think much has changed, but this isn't an entire video focused on Metallica. This is actually all my CDs. So there's some other bands here, but we're probably gonna have to like quickly go through this because as much as I would love to talk and spend like 5 minutes each on every album, I can't because the video will be way too long and it just won't upload. So we're gonna have to try to keep this under 20 minutes, which is hard for me, but we'll do it. So we're gonna go through the Metallica collection. If you don't care about the Metallica collection like that and you want to see what else I have, because we all know I love Metallica, but if you want to see the other bands that I got, and you might get surprised, just skip to this timestamp. I'm gonna put it on the screen. But we're gonna go through the entire Metallica collection in order, in chronological order from when they were released. So let's get straight into it. First, we have Kill 'Em All, which is their debut album, which came out in 1983, and it's just their debut album, and it's really good, and you really can't go wrong with this album. Just thrash, you know. Favorite song is Whiplash. Pretty good. Good stuff. Not really much to say. I'm gonna put these back in order too on the stands. Alright, next we have Ride the Lightning, which is their second album, which came out in 1984. So back-to-back albums. So bam, there you go. Some pretty cool stuff on here too. Again, pretty thrashy, pretty metal. Favorite song is Creeping Death. A lot of people know that. Creeping Death is great. Next we have Master of Puppets, which is the Poser album. Not really, but it's probably metal's most iconic album in the entire metal genre. Like, when you think of metal, you think of Master of Puppets, you think of Metallica. So this album is very iconic. Yeah. And if you're wondering, no, I did not discover Master of Puppets because of Stranger Things. I actually discovered it on my own. So, as if anybody cares. Battery's my favorite song. Love Battery. Battery's great. Like, I'm holding back because I would have spent like 10 minutes on Master of Puppets just talking about how much I love the album. This one's gonna be painful though, because I can talk about this album for a whole hour. Justice, the Justice album, which is my favorite Metallica album of all time. It's heavy. These songs are very long. If you can see that, close to 10-minute songs. Unlike most teenagers my age, their attention span is pretty small, pretty short, because all they do is watch TikTok. But me, I can sit there and listen to a 9-minute metal song, which a lot of kids can't do because they must have ADHD. So yeah, here is the Black Album, not the Black Album. Here is Justice, and man, I love that photo. I love those photos of the band, and they're all angry. This is probably Metallica's deepest / angriest album. It also has my favorite Metallica song of all time and my favorite song of all time in music, and that's Dyer's Eve. But yeah, I love this album. I love it. I could listen to that for the rest of my life. Next, we have Metallica and Justice for All Deluxe, okay? So this is basically a deluxe version of the album. So, but the thing is, it has 3 CDs, and you might be thinking, oh, well, what's on them? So the first CD has the entire album, so all 9 songs from the studio version remastered, and the second CD has demos and rough mixes. So like demos of songs, rough mixes, like before the songs were officially made, and then the third CD has live audios, live performances from the Justice tour, which is probably the best tour of all metal. No joke. Alright, next we have the Black Album. The cover looks different because I have it as Jason Newsted, but the original album cover is in here. I had the manual flipped, but yeah, here it is. I'm a big fan of Jason Newsted. I actually forgot to go in order, like in terms of years. So the Master of Puppets came out 1986. Ride the Lightning came out 84 or 83. I forgot. And then Justice came out 88. And then we have the Black Album, which came out in 1991. This came out in 2018, but it's Justice. But yeah, Black Album. What's that? Oh, it's a barcode. I wonder what happens if I scan that. Yeah, it's Justice. So, Black Album. Oh yeah, favorite song of this album. My Friend of Misery. I love that song. The bass on that song is great. All right, next, we're getting past the golden era of Metallica, which is their first 5 albums, and now we're getting into their other albums. So, some people might say, "Oh yeah, once you get past Metallica's first 5 albums, everything is just trash." That's not true. Yes, everything on the first 5 albums are fantastic, and I could listen to all those songs without skipping. But there are some hidden gems on these next couple albums. Like, for example, Load, which actually has my new favorite Metallica song as of right now, which is where is it? Hero of the Day. Hero of the Day is actually really underrated. But yeah, this album came out in, it doesn't even say the year. It came after the Black Album, so like somewhere in the 90s. I don't know. But yeah, here is Load, and their look changed as well. They also like cut their hair and everything. But yeah, that's Load. And favorite, see, before I would say my favorite song is Until It Sleeps, but Hero of the Day, that's definitely my new favorite song of the album. Alright, next we have Reload. So, this is right after Load, of course. And it sounds exactly like Reload, just different songs. And this one actually has the release date, which was in 97. So I wanna... Wait, what? How did this come out in 1997? If the Black Album came out... Oh no, I'm stupid. Whatever. Okay, so I'm guessing Load might have came out 1996. But favorite song off this is probably The Unforgiven 2. And I have something to back that up, which is this. It's literally a single CD. Like, it's a CD that has one song on it, and it's the Unforgiven 2. It has Unforgiven 2, and it has The Thing That Should Not Be, which is from Master of Puppets, and it's just a CD single. Okay, so we're still going in order. So you might think, okay, so after Reload, we're gonna get into Saint Anger. No, after Reload, S&M came out, the first S&M. So this is basically Metallica and orchestra. So classical music mixed with metal. That's what it is. But I haven't listened to it completely, so I can't really say what songs is good on it. And then I have the rest. Let me see where. Okay. It's actually over here. Alright, so next, after that, it's not the actual order. There's really no, I don't really know the order. Oh yeah, this came out before. So this is the EP. This is the EP, which has 5 songs. I love that artwork. That artwork is great. But it comes with 1 CD, well, obviously, and it's like in this little thing. And it has Helpless, The Small Hours, The Wait, Crash Course, and Last Caress. And thanks to this, I'm a big fan of Misfits right now. And probably forever. But yes, the Garage Days. And then we have Garage Inc., which has a bunch of covers. And it also has the EP. And it has two discs. But not gonna lie, I don't really like a lot of the songs on this album. They're cover songs, so it's not Metallica songs, but I just don't like them. There's only a couple I like. Yeah, we have the EP, not the EP, the actual album of all their covers. All right, after that we have Saint Anger. Yep. I remember the day I got this album, I was really hyped to listen to it because I heard so many good things about it. I'm not lying. I'm actually not being sarcastic. I actually heard a lot of good things about this album. Like, I heard that the numbers did well, and it was great, and it performed well. And I listened to it, I'm like, this is trash. And I'm not lying when I say this. I did, in fact, listen to this entire album in one sitting. I listened to this entire album in one sitting on my PS3, and it was painful, really painful. This album is horrible. It's crazy how Metallica has the greatest metal album of all time, but they also have the worst metal album of all time, which is Saint Anger. I don't know how they do it, but they're Saint Anger. Next, we have Some Kind of Monster, which I didn't buy it because it has Some Kind of Monster, which is from the Saint Anger album. I had it because it has a bunch of live performances. You can't even see it, but it has a bunch of live performances of other songs, which are better, like The Four Horsemen, Damage Inc., Leper Messiah, Motor Breath, Ride the Lightning, and Hit the Lights, which are very good stuff. So there's that. I keep forgetting to go and like tell you what year these are released. All you need to know is that Saint Anger came out in 2003. So this is like early 2000s Metallica. Don't know what they were doing. And then we have Death Magnetic. We're Finally Saved. This came out in 2008. So this came out a year after I was born. And this is actually pretty interesting because this is published by Warner Brothers, which is weird because every Metallica album I just showed you was released by Elektra. This one's released by Warner Brothers. Anyways, this is it's a comeback. You know, we had the first 5 albums, which was Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, the Justice album, and the Black album, which were all like thrashy, metal, heavy. And then you had Load, Reload, which were kind of like more soft rock kind of songs. And then you had Saint Anger, which was their take on alternative metal / new metal, which I don't like new metal. I think new metal is lazy metal. I think it's trash. Might be just my own opinion, but I just don't like new metal. There's only a couple of new metal bands I like, Slipknot and System of a Down. But everything else is trash. So when they tried switching to new metal, and it wasn't really a switch, it was just trying to adapt to the times, because back in 2003 when Saint Anger came out, yeah, new metal and alternative metal was on top of the world. So, you know, it makes sense that they tried switching to it, but didn't really pull it off at all. And there are like very rare people who love Saint Anger, and some people might even say it's their favorite album. And I think if your favorite album is Saint Anger, you should probably stop listening to music, because I don't know, your ears must hurt. And speaking of ears hurting, this album will hurt your ears because it's not mixed well. It's very loud. I don't know who mixed this album, but whoever mixed it did a horrible job. Rick Rubin, you know how to mix, trust me. But this album did come out in 2008, so there is a chance that we could get a remastered version. And if they do remaster this, hopefully it sounds good and not as bad. And hopefully they do if they did a remaster of Saint Anger and it sounds really good and they fix the snares, I think I might like it. Because the only problem I have with Saint Anger is the sound quality and the drums. But yeah, Death Magnetic is cool. Favorite song is The Day That Never Comes, which is everyone's favorite song off this album. Spent a lot of time on that album. Let's move on to Beyond Magnetic, which is their second EP. I for all I know, okay, yeah, I don't even know if this is classified as an EP, but I'm saying it's an EP. This is their second EP, because the first EP was Garage Days, which I showed you. This is their second EP, which has basically Death Magnetic sounding songs, which is Hate Train, Just a Bullet Away, Hell and Back, and Rebel of Babylon. And I have listened to this, and I'm gonna be straight up here. I don't remember a single song. And I could say that for the entirety of Death Magnetic. I just, they're really forgettable. Next, we have Through the Never, which came out in 2013. And basically what this is, I'm not going to open it because it's like a whole puzzle trying to open this thing. But it basically has the entire soundtrack from the movie Metallica, Through the Never, which is actually one of the greatest, if not the greatest, metal movies, like live performance movies of a metal concert of all time. And I've watched it. And it has all of the songs that were performed in that concert. And yeah, it's just live performances, so it sounds cool. They sound cool. So yeah, that's 2013. And then after that, in 2016, we got their second latest album, which is Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Which, it's a pretty decent album. Like I said, I think the last 3 albums were definitely a comeback from the whole Saint Anger / Reload and Load era. But yeah, we did get Hardwired to Self-Destruct, which it's pretty thrashy. It's pretty metal, pretty heavy, and I think they did a really good job with this album. The mixing sounds great. The instruments sound great. The writing is great. The songs sound interesting, and they're pretty lengthy, which I love lengthy songs. And it's just a good album, honestly. Just a good album. I think I might want to get another copy of this, because this is one of the first Metallica albums I've ever bought. If not, no, this is like the second Metallica album I ever bought. It was Hardwired, so it has some damage, mostly because of my stupid cats dropping it. But I might have to get a second copy of this. But yeah, Hardwired. And then speaking of my first album, we got Metallica S&M. I think I might be the only person in the world whose first Metallica album was S&M. Okay, so here's the thing, right? At the time when I got this, I wasn't a huge Metallica fan as I was now. I only knew a couple songs, and those songs were For Whom the Bell Tolls, One, Master of Puppets, Nothing Else Matters, and Enter Sandman. I only knew 5 songs, and I loved those songs. And I was in the mall one day, and we was in this music store, and I saw this, and I turned it around. I'm like, God damn, that's a lot of Metallica songs. And my idiot self thought that this entire album had all of these songs on it. I'm like, bro, okay, I'm about to get into Metallica. I get in the car, I plop the CD into the CD player in my car. Yes, my car has a CD player. And I'm listening to it, and I'm hearing a crowd. I'm like, why is there a crowd? What the hell? It's a live performance with orchestra. So, just like S&M 1, so this is S&M 1. This is S&M 2. So this is classical music, violins, pianos, mixed with metal. And I was kind of mad, because I'm like, bro, I wanted to listen to Master of Puppets. But I was like, it's whatever. And now I have it. And I would have bought it sooner or later, because I just want to get a big Metallica collection. Yeah, so S&M 2, my first Metallica album. I mean, we all start somewhere. And the last Metallica album, I'm going to stop boring you guys with Metallica albums. I'm having a lot of fun with it, though. We have their latest album, which I love, and if you watch my video of me reviewing this album when it first came out a couple months ago, I praised it. And I gave it a 10 out of 10. And after many, many, many months later of listening to this album, would I still give it a 10 out of 10? I'm gonna be brutally honest. Yes, I love this album so much. Every song on this album hits. I don't care what anybody says. I love it. I love this album just as much as the first 5 albums. I'm sorry. I do. I love this album. This album's great. I'm not going to open it because it's a puzzle to open. But just know this album is great. 2023 came out this year. I love it. It's great. Now, that's it for Metallica. Before we get into the other bands, I want to let you guys know I am buying vinyls for Metallica, so expect a Metallica vinyl collection. And if you know my favorite albums, and you know the albums I like, you're already going to know what albums I'm going to be buying on the vinyls. But I'm slowly making my way into vinyl collecting, only for Metallica, though. Vinyl is way too expensive. I'm only going to collect vinyls for Metallica, but for other bands, probably not. Except one other band, which I'm about to get to right now. And that band is none other than the one and only Misfits. Now, I actually have the cover. Here's the actual cover of it, but I flipped it around because I like this one more. So before any hardcore Misfits fans gets in the comments and demolishes me saying, "Oh my God, you bought the collection?" Yes, I did. And I saw this one guy reviewing it, and he was saying how the collection CDs have bad quality and don't sound as good as the studio versions. And for example, I listened to London Dungeon. Okay, London Dungeon. I listened to that song, and I listened to the studio version of that song, and they sound fine. So, I don't know what everybody's saying that the collection versions of these CDs sound bad, but they sound great to me. And it has a bunch of Misfits songs, a lot of great stuff there. And I am so in love with the Misfits right now. I check my Spotify stats here and there, and lately I've been listening to more Misfits than Metallica, which is surprising because over the past 6 months, all I've been listening to is Metallica. So, and it shows my top 50 songs, and it's all Misfits. Only a couple Metallica songs on there. And I'm just really loving the band right now, man. So we have Misfits Collection 1, and then we have Misfits Collection 2. So these two collections are just an entire compilation of all the best Danzig era Misfits songs. So we have the second collection, which sounds good. The quality sounds perfect to me. So I was once called tone deaf. Somebody called me tone deaf. I don't think I'm tone deaf. They sound fine to me. So if it sounds good to me, that's all that matters. But that's the second collection. And no, I don't just own collections. I do have some of the actual albums. So we have Metallica. This is how you know I love Metallica too much. We have Misfits Static Age. I love this album. Every single song on here I can listen to straight. It's a really different transition. I might have to make this into a different video of how I even got into the Misfits, but it's such a crazy story. But it's so weird because Metallica songs are so long and just so like better produced, and you have Misfits. Their longest song was like 5 minutes in the Danzig era or something like that, and their songs range from like 2 to 3 minutes long. Some of them are even like 1:40. But man, they're really good. So yeah, we have Static Age, and then after that we have Earth AD, and I love me some Earth AD, especially the title track Earth AD. Very heavy. I love it. But yes, Earth AD. We do have Earth AD as well. And I would tell you my favorite song off of each album, but I can't pick. I love all these songs equally, man. Trust me, they're so good. And then we have something from the Michael era, and that is Misfits American Psycho, which is a pretty good album. You know, a lot of good stuff in here, like Don't Open Till Doomsday, Dig Up Her Bones, Walk Among Us. A lot of good stuff in here. Crimson Ghost. So, a lot of cool stuff here. Now, I'm nearly done my Misfits CD collection. There's 2 albums that I'm missing that I need to get. And that is Walk Among Us, which is a $25 CD. It's the first ever Misfits album. but it's Walk Among Us and Famous Monsters. And I have what, three? So one, two, wait, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So their first 5 albums. It's kind of funny too, because Metallica's first 5 albums are their best albums, and it seems like with Misfits, their first 5 albums are their best albums. In total, Misfits has 7 albums, and anything beyond the first 5 is pretty bad, from what I've heard and from what I've listened to. So yeah, we have 2 collections. We have 3 albums. I need to get Walk Among Us and Famous Monsters, and then we're good. And also, I am getting Misfits on vinyl, which it's already hard enough trying to find Misfits CDs. So these Misfits vinyls are very expensive, but I will be getting them because I'm such a huge fan right now. But yeah, those are like my 2 main bands I'm listening to right now, is Metallica and Misfits. I'm also slowly getting into Ramones and Anthrax, but Misfits and Metallica right now, I'm loving them. We have about a couple more albums. I hope the video doesn't end on its own because it's getting pretty long. But let's get into it. So we have Megadeth, 2 Megadeth albums. It's a collection album. I know. Oh, you don't have the singular album. I know. I have the collection album. They sound good to me. The quality sounds great. And it has Countdown to Extinction and Rest in Peace. Good albums. Megadeth's best work, in my opinion. Especially Rest in Peace. Love that album. Next, we have AC/DC, Back in Black. Call me a poser. I'm not really that big of a fan of AC/DC. I just have it because I have it, and I found it at the thrift store. And I'm like, hey, it's AC/DC, might as well get it. There are some songs I like, though. We do have this, which I have not listened to yet, but it's metal. It's a metal album, a metal band called Sevendust, and it's called Cold Day Memory, and my mom got it for me. I can't remember where she got it from. It might have been a flea market, I think, but she thought I might like it, and I listened to one song, and it sounded pretty well. So we have that, and then we also have Iron Maiden, Best of the Beast. So it has all of Iron Maiden's best songs. Unfortunately, they have the live performance of Fear of the Dark, and Fear of the Dark is one of my favorite songs of Iron Maiden. I wish it was a studio version, but that's cool. They also do have The Trooper, which is another one of my favorite Iron Maiden songs. I have tried getting into Iron Maiden. They're not for me, honestly. Next, we have this one, and I know this is Metallica, but it's not actually Metallica. By the way, it's 3 CDs. It's three CDs, and it is literally, well, first of all, it's called The Many Faces of Metallica, and that's how many songs there are. All of that are songs. So the first CD has a bunch of Metallica songs, but they're covered by other bands, and they're like reimagined. So for example, you could listen to Enter Sandman, but death metal version of Enter Sandman. And then the second CD is the same thing. It has a bunch of Metallica songs, but covered by different bands who do different types of music. And then the third CD has influences and originals, which is pretty cool. So it has a bunch of bands that Metallica is influenced by. So you have Blitzkrieg by Blitzkrieg, you have Burner by Motorhead, you have Crash Course in Brain Surgery by Budgie, you have Black Metal by Venom. So a lot of cool stuff here. So the third CD actually has real band. Oh, I wouldn't say real band, but they're influences. You know what I mean? So there's that. And then for the final CD, because I'm really scared that the video's gonna end, we have Black Sabbath, the Ultimate Collection, and yeah, it just has a bunch of Black Sabbath songs. I did own a Kiss album, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't like Kiss. I only love one Kiss song, and that's I Was Made for Loving You. Other than that, Kiss is not that good, in my opinion. I'm sorry. Anyways, that's it for my entire CD collection. If I actually wanted to spend time and talk about how much I love these albums, you probably would still be on Metallica right now. And the video would probably be over an hour long, but for my phone's sake, and for viewers' sake, keeping it that short. So that's it for today's video. I'm gonna have to reorganize everything. That's it for today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one.